And before we begin today's town hall meeting, what I'd really like to do is kind of go over some logistics. So real quick, so everybody is aware this event is being taped and will be broadcast on WXXI sometime in the near future. If you can at this moment, please silence your cell phones, pagers, and all the other nice electronic gizmos that we have. While the testimony is on a time-limited basis, we will take questions from the audience. So going around, you'll see some cards. If you have a question, if you can fill them out and turn them back in. Once the formal testimony is over, we will go to a question and answer session with the Assemblyman. And then probably most importantly, we've certainly seen the town hall meetings at a national level on health care. I certainly hope that we can be respectful of each other's time and opinion today and not have a similar circumstance here. But before we get going, I'd like to thank three organizations that have been instrumental in putting this together today. I'd like to thank the staff here at the Dryden Theater and the staff of the Eastman House for hosting us. I'd like to thank Sandy Parker, Ellen Rosen, Barb Catrona, and Michelle Heffern with the RBA, and the Voice of the Voter partners, WXXI, the Democrat and Chronicle, 13 WHAM TV, and WDKX Radio. So you know, Voice of the Voter is an annual effort to bring the voices and opinions of the voters closer to the candidates and to engage citizens in a democratic process leading up to November elections. We're pleased to have them as our partners today and look forward to working with them in the near future leading up to the elections of November 2010. And in line with the objectives of Voice of the Voter, Unshackle Upstate felt it was important that we provide a forum for business owners and taxpayers to share with elected officials their concerns about the economy and their frustrations about how things are being conducted in the state of New York. We obviously have many barriers to growth. We want to talk about them openly and honestly so that we can have productive dialogue when we do head back to Albany and do look at the next legislative session and the policies that take place. But let me share with you a few of those burdens that we're looking at right now. The 2009 state budget exceeded $138 billion and included $8 billion in new taxes and fees. Since the year 2000, we had a state budget of $77.5 billion. At $132 billion, that is now nearly a 60% increase and double the CPI. New York State's local and state tax burden is second highest in the nation, currently a dubious distinction that we have held for over 3 decades. New York property taxes are among the nation's highest. This issue is certainly going to get worse with a report from the Comptroller's office that indicates that property taxes in 2011 could go up as much as 10% simply to cover an underfunded pension. And those are just a few of the examples of the difficulties we all face in trying to keep businesses here, grow jobs, and keep our houses and our homes afloat. Today, though, we are lucky to have two of the people that understand business issues more than others and have run both businesses in the private sector, whether as an owner or as a CEO. Both of the men sitting with me today understand the challenges you face and are working hard with their respective parties to improve the fiscal conditions of the state. In fact, we should all be incredibly thankful for them because back in April, these two gentlemen had the courage to vote no on the state budget in what is conceivably the worst state budget in the history of our fine state. So please help me in welcoming Assemblyman Brian Kolb and Assemblyman Joe Morelli. In closing, we look forward to hearing from all of you today. Our goal from these town hall sessions is to gather the personal stories and compile them into our own Unshackle State of Upstate. All the work we do now will be used to help educate voters leading up to the next elections in November of 2010.